Everybody, Ben for the Bonehead podcast, and we've got Games Workshop's Blood Bowl downloads. We've got the High Elf roster to look at, and we've got a little bit of an FAQ to look at, and we've got the tiers, the first tiers list that Games Workshop have published. So I think we dive into it. Okay, so let's go to the Com of War and go downloads to the Blood Bowl, and in there we've got Teams of Legend, Blood Bowl errata, and team tiers. We will do Teams of Legend first, then errata, I think, then team tiers very, very last. So, Teams of Legend, we've got the High Elf roster, and I mean, we're not expecting it to be much different. Historically, every time they've done a Teams of Legend, it's been very similar to how it was before. So let's have a look and let's find out. So, High Elves, Elven Kingdom Leagues, fine. High Elf Lineman, 0 to 16, Elf Lineman, 65k. Movement 6, Strength 3, Edge 2+, Passing 3+ for the Elf Lineman, Armor 9+, AG on primary, and Passing and Strength on a secondary. I think that is exactly Dark Elf. I think that is exactly Dark Elf, which is exactly how it was before. 65, 63239, none AG, DS. Oh, okay. To be fair, the High Elf Linemen get Passing on a secondary. Now, there are no random secondaries in this edition of Blood Bowl, so that becomes less of a bit of a punt. So, okay. I mean, yeah, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. So, 2 High Elf Throwers, 100k a piece. 6, 3, 2+, 2+, 9+, Cloud Burster, Pass, and Safe Pass. So, what we're going to do is we are going to double check those skills because we know what Pass does. Pass gives you a re-roll. But Cloud Burster, I've not really looked at it yet in this edition. When this player performs a pass action, opposition players may not attempt to intercept the ball. Okay, so Cloud Burster just means you can yeet it and no one can get in the way. We are going to check very long legs. Additionally, this player ignores the Cloud Burster skill. Okay, cool. So Cloud Burster means you can never be intercepted. That's actually really quite good. Yeah, that's quite good, especially like with deflections and everything being changed up in this edition. Actually, High Elves, that's a really good free skill to have, I think. I like that. Safe Pass is... I think this actually... if this player rolls a natural 1, we're making a passing ability test, and it will not result in a fumbled pass. Instead, the player retains possession of the ball, and their activation immediately ends. No turnover is caused. All right, so basically, this guy is the most consistent thrower in the game, a little bit on the slow side at movement 6. Cloud Burster means he can never be intercepted unless it's by something with long legs. And Pass gives you the re-roll. Safe Pass means if you roll a natural 1. So it is the safest way to throw in the game. Cool, like that. Ooh, okay, we've got 0 to 4 High Elf catchers. This is brutal, and I think maybe a bit of a mistake from Games Workshop there. I guess where the other Elf teams have lost their 0 to 4 positionals because they're not redoing the team. I feel like this should have been a 0 to 2 the same way, unless they're signposting that when they do High Elves, they're going to have 4 catchers on the roster, or this, okay. Yeah, 4, 90k, movement 8, strength 3, 2+, 3+, 8+ catch pieces with agility in general. Okay, High Elves are High Elves. That's a lot of speed and quite a lot of strength, and the fact they can take edge and general on a primary, it means that you could potentially end up with some very fast blodgers very quickly. That's quite potent. 0 to 2 High Elf Blitzers, 100k, movement 7, strength 3, edge 2+, passing 4+, armor 9+, block with agility in general. Can you guess what those guys are getting? Now, they do get pass and strength in a secondary, so, you could do stuff with that. Now, when it comes to this roster, I think you're just going to absolutely blitz in as many of those catches as you can. But this is why we're always a bit trepidatious when putting these teams in and on the channel, is we are always aware that Teams of Legend get changed one way or another. So even Tomb Kings, right? They didn't get changed a huge amount, but their big guys got Brawler. This roster here, that is very much, I think, a case of their catchers will be reduced down to 2. Like, surely. 18 rerolls at 50k apiece. Look, it is a good roster, and I think if it didn't have 4 catchers, you would have a little bit more of a tough sell. Hey, look, the really good thing here is if you're a High Elf fan, you can still run them in the edition. Okay, I've got some bad news for you today. We've got some FAQs. So, the Chaos Renegades team, the Ogre, does actually have Mighty Blow. We knew that was going to be the case. In fact, I am still very confident the reason that was missed off is because the page just gets a bit big. Like, it's right at the bottom. I think they just ran out of space on the page. And this bit is the sad bit, though. The human team, the Imperial team, and the OWA team. The Ogre does not get mutation on a secondary. We kind of talked about this on other team guides we've done. We kind of thought that was going to be the case. That would have been really cool, but, I mean, what are you going to do? Like, you must have been expecting that. We were expecting it. It would have been too good to be true. And talking of too good to be true, Old World Alliance... Halfling hopefuls, they had 0 to 5, they can now take 0 to 3, which I really don't think is going to affect anybody. If you were running an OWA team with 5 halflings, the game wasn't even out yet. Like, the only thing that does change, and you'll see this on the podcast this weekend, we had Kaijin Chicken on the podcast talking about Gutter Bowl and Sevens and stuff like that, and how this edition changes those games. And the fact that these guys are labelled as linemen means that for Sevens or Gutter Bowl, you can have any amount of them. So technically, for a brief period, although the game's not out yet, you could have planned a Sevens team with 5 halflings for OWA, which would have been egregious. Okay, right, so FAQ bits, totally fine. No big changes there, at least nothing we weren't expecting. High Elves look okay. Let's have a look at tiers. So, Games Workshop are going to do this, and I wonder if we will... Yep, all right. Answered my own question there. Well done, Games Workshop. So, here we go. The Games Workshop tiers. Here we present an updated tier list for all the teams within Blood Bowl. This will be updated alongside each update to ensure that tiers each team are in are as up-to-date and accurate as possible. If an event organised by Games Workshop makes use of tiers as part of its rules pack, then the ones listed here will be the ones that are used. When a team has changed tiers from previous update, they will be in pink. Okay, so tiers are for tournaments, right? It doesn't affect league. Now, everything we're kind of looking at the moment, you're thinking league when you're looking at the team guides. You're thinking league when you're looking at running them. So there's going to be some here that you kind of think that's a bit low. That's not a bit low. So there's 4 tiers in this edition. Tier 4, gnomes, goblins, halflings, stunty, ogre and snotlings. It's the stunty tier. Totally fine. Should have probably just called it the stunty tier. Tier 3, Black Orc, Chaos Chosen, Chaos Renegade, Khorne and Nurgle. From a tournament point of view, okay, totally see that. I'm glad the FAQ didn't address any trolls with Loner. So Black Orcs, you know, in League, Black Orcs I think are better than Tier 3. Tier 2, Bretonnians, I can, see that. Elven Union, Human? Actually, yes, I like Human now. Imperial Nobility, yeah, Necro, Orc, Shambling Undead, Skaven, and the Mighty have fallen down into Tier 2. Doom Kings and Vampires at Tier 2. I think Hypno got a little bit worse, but there's some filth combos there with like Break Tackle and things that I think make Vampires still pretty potent. Amazons at Tier 1, yes. Chaos Dwarf at Tier 1. I don't know about that. The Sneaky Stabber did get cheaper. That is fair. Dark Elves, maybe. I mean, I guess at tournament package you've got a little bit more gold, so you can take a 12-man roster with all your positionals, including some assassins, which actually does make the roster a little bit more interesting. Dwarf at Tier 1. I don't know about that either. High Elves, fair enough. Lizards, yeah. Norse, okay. OWA, yes. Underworld, yes. Wood Elf, yes. Interesting one. I would probably put, from a tournament point of view, Vampires into Tier 1. I'm going to be hard-pressed not to want Undead in Tier 1 as well. Nobility remains to be seen. Dwarves, Chaos Dwarves at Tier 1, I think with the skill changes to those guys, not having tackle and not having, I just think they maybe want to be a blot down. Black Orcs in general, I think, are above tier 3 for League, but this is for tournaments. So I am happy with them being tier 3. If it means if you're running these tiers, you get a bit more skills and a bit more gold for them. I couldn't be happier about that. Necro are good in this edition. They could potentially be a tier 1. Orcs are good as well. Orcs are really good. Look, to be honest with you, I think this just shows really how well this game is staged at the moment. There's a lot in tier 1 and tier 2 that are really close, and I don't think it hugely matters. I think erring on the side of caution with Dark Elves, Dwarves... Chaos Dwarf? Yeah? No? Not sold on the Chaos Dwarf one. Anyway, this is going to be a really interesting one, a really interesting point of contention. I love that Games Workshop are doing tiers. It is for tournaments, and that means if you're running leagues, you don't need to worry about it at all. So that's okay too. So great. We've got High Elves. We've got a tier list. Oh, Megastars. We didn't look at Megastars. Sorry, I've got a bit of a cold. Actually, I bought Tiff flowers and there because she let me go and run Bonehead Bowl. I'm allergic to flowers. So it's just good time. Right, here we present the list of star players they consider to be megastars in regards to the rules presented on page 113 of the Blood Bowl rulebook for tournament play. We will constantly assess blah 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 blah. So this is the Games Workshop megastars: Griff, Overworld, Hackflem, movement 8 now. Like, Edge 1 Plus is still egregious, so maybe, yeah, fair enough. Hthark, the Unstoppable, Ivan Deathshroud, Morgan Thorg. It's an interesting one for Megastars. We're going to be diving into stars starting in December. And we're going to be going through all of them, looking at which teams they can play for and how good they are. I think we're going to go with a 5-star rating. Anyway, I'm going to start sneezing. Thank you very much for watching. Bless me. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Let me know what you think about this stuff. And yes, happy blocking.